And welcome to this Super Day review, as we are having today a Cobra Playday, and we're today looking at some Dreadnoks. First of all, let's look at Buzzer, then Ripper. Also coming in hot is Torch, and even a bonus Dreadnok, Gnawgahyde, with Porkbelly and Yobo. And then another bonus we have, this is not a Dreadnok, but we're going to do it just because we can and we enjoy it. Big Boa. Who else would you find fighting on the streets than Big Boa, ready to fight? Yes, let's take a look at these Cobra enemies on this Cobra Playday. And here we are downtown in the slums of Enterprise City, where Zartan and Zorana and some other people are hanging out in the city to take a look at Big Boa and the Dreadnoks that are joining the team. And first, let's take a look at their accessories. And let's first take a look at our Dreadnoks and Cobra enemies accessories as we look at Buzzer. And he comes with a pair of shades. You can see them on his face there. They are removable. And then he comes with his very iconic chainsaw. Looking very detailed and awesome. Looks like there's even some contrast between what the color of the chain is and the actual mechanism, so that is really cool. And then he comes with another pair of shades. Now this may have just been mine. I may have gotten a bonus, but I got another pair of shades. He gets this hook chain thing that's attached to a handle, as well as almost like a Buzzer, like skill saw type blade attached to a stick here. Looks like attached with some makeshift pieces of metal and even some, looks like even some silver duct tape as a handle there. Really cool. And then he also comes with a knife, and he comes with a pistol, as you can see there on his hip, and that's attached. So he is decked out with a lot of cool stuff. Really neat Buzzer action figure, so reminiscent to me of how he looked as even the 3 1/4 size. And yes, I used to have all of those. I sold them a few years ago. But now we look at Ripper, and he comes equipped with his shades, and they're also removable. They're not really translucent like they seem to indicate on the box art, but you can't really see his eyes unless you would shine some light really bright through there, because it's just looks like it's painted red over a real thin piece of gray. So, you know, it's not really translucent, but he has all kinds of tattoos and gear on his wrists and his bicep, like the spikes. And then he also comes with a machine gun with a blade attached underneath, and that's a scoped machine gun with a little clip that's removable down here. That little clip is removable, and that's cool. And then he comes with his pincher Jaws of Life style, be able to rip into something. Really cool there. And then he also comes with a pistol that is strapped over here on his right side, and that little pistol has a little blade on the end of it as well, which is interesting. But he also has a knife which goes in his sheath that's attached to his chest there, his chest armor, where you see those grenades, and the grenades are not removable. He's got little dog tags representing how many Joes I guess he's killed. But I think the chest armor is removable, the little strap, but the grenades are not in the sense of individually. But he's got some cool tattoos and a little chain wallet thing, just looking very Dreadnought-esque here as we look at Ripper. He's so cool. And then this is the new one here, Torch, and he is looking awesome. And he has a backpack that is equipped right there, as you can see. Look, it says Nox Rule with a little skull and crossbone type flame with some X's showing how many people he's knocked off, probably Joe's. He's got little X's on the back where he's marked how many times he's been able to do whatever he's keeping up with there. But also he comes with 3 effect pieces, which you can see the gun here and the hose that's attached from the backpack to the blowtorch, and this effect piece here, which is really cool, really nice. It's translucent orange, and even 2 little flame pieces that go on top. But that's not the ones I'm counting. He also has more of like a streaming flame piece that shoots out that you can attach to this. This unplugs and you can plug that in. And then even a small one where it looks like he's getting ready to heat up so he can shoot his blowtorch. You know, when they first light them, there's like a little flame that shoots out the barrel, and that's what that would represent. So once you strike it and get it fired up, then you can either blow a stream of fire or a big puff of fire like this thing, this cloud, almost like a cloud of fire, a bunch of fire there. And so you have options. That's so cool. Now his shades, interesting to note, are non-removable like the other 2. They're molded in, but he has that iconic look to him, and a lot of chains and the little bicep spikes here again. He even has chains like around his vest, painted detail for the zipper. He's got some painted red on his arms and a chain around his arm as well, just some flame effect looking paint or tattooing maybe around his wrists and arms area there. Now he has 2 different little guns, little pistols. He's got one on the right side and one on the left side, so that's interesting. So he has 2 pistols instead of having a knife. Let's see, I don't think, yeah, he doesn't have a knife, I don't believe. He just has firepower. And he does have a necklace, and the only one that does not have a necklace among these, I would say, core character dreadnoughts is Buzzer. He's the only one that didn't come with a necklace, that as far as mine. Alright, now let's look at Gnawgahyde. Gnawgahyde, and you see little Yobo up here on his shoulder. That is a non-articulated little static figure, hard plastic figure. You can't even turn his head, you can't bend his arms. He has no bendable parts, but he's definitely cute, and he's angry looking though. He's even got a patch on his eye. he's like a little pirate. But his hat's removable. You can see his machete that has like a strap where it can actually wrap around his forearm and wrist, almost like a double-bladed almost machete type figure. And then he has like these wrist gauntlets with spikes over here on his right, and then like just another wrap of some sort, almost looks like a keg barrel cut through, wooden almost wraps with little rivets on it. He's got his crossbow, which you see he's holding there. He's got a knife over here on his boot that you can equip there, little knife that sheathes in, and that's removable. He has 2 necklaces. Looks like he's got some dog tags and then some teeth of whatever he's been hunting hanging around his neck like a trophy, as well as a brim around his outback style type hat, or Australian style maybe you'd say hat, with some teeth around the brim there, and just some cool detail. But that's not it. He even has a arrow quiver type backpack back here, and one of the things that's cool about that is you have some molded in arrows, but then you even have one that you can remove right here. It pulls out, and I'm not going to pull it out because it looks like my backpack's going to fall. You know, if you know Classified Joes, they don't stay in the hole very well. Might even for some of them glue them in. But then he also comes with this awesome little rifle case, which is very similar from what I have seen that Lowlight comes with, which I have Lowlight on the way. I haven't got him in yet, but you can peg this in his back if you don't want to use the quiver. But when you open this thing up right here, you have a spot for the scope, for the silencer, for the little tripod or dual pod there for the sniper weapon, and then there it is. It's like a black and green combo, and you can snap on the little tripod right there. You can install the silencer. You can also install right here the scope, and it has like a green and brown look to it on the inside, and then it just kind of clips together. Mine doesn't really snap all the way together, but there's a little gappage, but there you go. You can see how it clips together, and he can hold it by the handle or attach it to his back. So that's really cool, the details and the padding there. And so you have the crossbow with the ability to use the arrows, or you can use the sniper weapon. Either way, this guy is ready for action to go after some Joes. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. That's not it though. He also comes with another action figure. That's right, this is a 2-pack, because technically this is another action figure that is fully articulated, and this is Porkbelly. Hey, Porkbelly. And we're going to look at his articulation here in just a few moments, but we have one more Cobra enemy, Big Boa, who comes with 2 sets of hands. He comes with a pair of weapon-holding hands, horizontally hinged, that have wraps around the knuckles because they're so bloodied. He comes with his iconic helmet with spikes and like an oxygen hose attached to the right or left side of it. And then, yes, he comes, well, I guess they're technically not hands, but there's hands inside. Technically, I guess, in theory. He comes with his boxing gloves with the Cobra symbol on them. Isn't that awesome? They have some white trim detail. He's got some bruising to his face, even missing a couple of teeth, it looks like. He's got his iconic spike chest armor going on there. He's got some thick, muscular legs. He is jacked. Wow, he's just looking so cool. He's looking good. He's very muscular. Looks really cool with those gloves. That head sculpt is so neat. He's ready to box. Now, that is not a helmet. That is actually technically a head sculpt, a second head sculpt that you can pop on to your Big Boa instead of have his normal head. You can have his helmeted head, so to speak. And this is something we never got in G.I. Joe 3 1/4 size. We never knew what he looked like, and now we do. So cool. Big Boa. He's ready to fight somebody on these back alleys to practice. Maybe one of these guys back here. But we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So now that we've seen all of their accessories, let's take a look at articulation. Now, these all have pretty much the same exact articulation, each and every one of them. So I'm not going to go over all of them. Only the differences I'll go over. So we're going to take a look at Big Boa because he's the most, I say, easiest to access and get a hold of here. But, you know, like I said, this hat is removable, the necklace is removable, even the vest is removable on these guys. Now, his tank top is not removable, but his straps around his chest are removable. His dog tag necklace is removable. Shades are removable on these two, but not this one. Probably that choker is removable. I know the necklace is. So there's, you know, a lot of removable parts, but they have pretty much the exact same articulation in every point you may just have, with these two, there's not going to be any hindrance to the abdomen crunch here, but these two with the vests, there may be a little bit of hindrance, but it doesn't look like much. This one's fully open. This guy's a little bit more jacked than the other two. He's a little bit more muscular. You can tell he's broader and bigger than at least these two. This one's a little bit on the skinnier side. Ripper's a little bit bulkier, thicker, and Torch is kind of in the middle. But this dude is very jacked, and I think that's interesting that they gave some detail like that. But we're going to look at the articulation of Big Boa. We'll look at any differences, if there are any, in these four, and then we're going to take a look at the articulation of good old Porkbelly. Yep. All right, bringing our Big Boa on in here, and he is big and he is Boa. He is awesome looking. And we're gonna first take a look at these little weights. I mean, he knows how to lift them. He's doing curls, bicep curls. He's looking at them. He's imagining his biceps swelling and getting bigger. And these are not just any weights. These are 90-pound hand weights that he's curling. So this is no joke. This dude knows what to lift and how to lift. He is lifting heavy and he is swole. But let's go ahead and take a look at his head. He's going to be able to look up that much. He's going to be able to look down about that much. He has the neck and the head articulation, so he's going to get a good full 360 going on there, and a good hula hoop, so to speak, type head joint there. He's going to get good pivot as well to get those expressions. So just excellent all the way around. Like I said, that neck also moves and pivots a little bit, and the head of course too, so he gets that traditional Joe classified type articulation. And just like with them, we don't get a whole lot of movement in the butterfly joint, but you do get a little bit as you see it going back and forth there on both sides. So you do get a little bit. He's going to get 360, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that get all the way. Both of these hands are horizontally hinged. I wish one of them or both of them had been vertically hinged. It would have made it easier for him to hold the weights, to get them at the right angle, but they are horizontally hinged. He's going to be able to crunch forward about that much. He's going to be able to bend back that much. He also has the ability to swivel at the waist. He's going to get full splits. He's got the drop down method. He's going to be able to kick up really high and go back just a little bit to get those strides. He has thigh rotation. Just look at those jacked thighs. You do have a little bit of different color up here versus here, a little bit more shine, but you do get those muscular legs. I just wish that had gone on into this part right here. It looks a little disjointed there, but he gets awesome double jointed knees, also has boot cut, gets full tiptoe, goes up all the way, excellent rockers with the peg hole. So this dude has great articulation, excellent articulation. Now let's go ahead and look at the second head sculpt. Put that helmet head on there as you see, and that's going to be able to go up a good amount there. He's going to be able to look down all the way. He also is going to get head pivot and get the full measure, so you get to see what that looks like. All you have to do is just pull off these hands, and then you grab the other ones, which are gloves, as you can see there. They have a hinge and then this little part here so that you get more mobility. Plug that in, and they are hinged horizontally, so you'll be able to get a good range there with the gloves. Let's go ahead and remove this one. Just go ahead and complete the set. You see the Cobra symbol that is on each of the gloves with some white trim, with the thumb coming into the bunched up part of the glove as traditional. And that little part does even have like a little simulated molded wrap, like it's a wrap, so that's cool. Usually they Velcro on, and that's neat. So you can see that he can get his gloves going, punch them together, ready for action, ready to fight. He's looking good. There's our iconic big boa awesome. All right, so all of these have the same articulation as big boa, exactly. The only difference is on our torch, his ab crunch is just slightly hindered because the vest is closed in the front. So kind of like you've seen in some of the other Joes where it's maybe a little bit more difficult to get that ab crunch because of the vest. So that is the only thing. Everything else is pretty much identical. Very good ab crunch on this big fella, even with the thick abs. And again, his hat's removable. His shades are not removable. And I will mention that these shades are a little bit easier to function with than buzzers. For some reason, buzzers are difficult to get on, and I had to heat them up and kind of shape them on buzzer over here. But Ripper's glasses are real easy on mine to get on. But let me show you, that's very interesting to see that it looks like he's got a little scar or maybe a tattooed teardrop over his left or under his left eye, and then his right eye looks like it is it's non-working, like it's been poked out, like he's blind in his right eye. So this one's brown and looks normal, and this one looks like it's been poked out or messed up, I should say. The pupil's blown. Something's going on there. But it's real easy to get these shades on. But I wanted to show you his head sculpt. Just a beautiful head sculpt overall as far as the detail. Just really cool. The wrinkles in the forehead and even in his cheeks and his ear detail. Just really amazing how much detail is in these classified figures, especially these Dreadnoks. I just love it. Love what they did. I mean, these are iconic. From the cartoon to the 1/4 inch to everything about them. It's just awesome. Okay, now let's look at our Porkbelly's articulation. So bringing Porkbelly on in here so that you can see him. His head's going to go up about that far. He's going to be able to shift that head down about that much. He's even going to be able to turn it from side to side, and even a little bit of pivot going on there as well. And that's on like a sliding joint underneath here, and you can kind of see it if I kind of lift up on it. There's like 1, 2, there's the head, and then there's the neck piece. And then check this out, his mouth is articulated. Don't pull it down too far or it will break or pop off the joint, I should say. But he's got the details of his teeth up in there looking awesome. The roof of his mouth, everything's painted. His tongue, the teeth and the husks that go around, like looks like this one's broke off. That's intentional though. He's got this tusk intact. This tuck is broke off, and then they've put, bless his heart, they pierced his nose and put spikes through his nose. All right, his feet are going to be able to spread apart that much in the front and go together, and they will go 360. He's got, of course, that first knee joint in that leg, and then the second little ankle joint. And don't really get any rockers, but we don't really have a need for rockers. And plus, you can adjust that there because they're so tiny. They're such tiny little hooves. Then on the back, you're going to be able to spread the legs apart that much. You're going to bring them together. They'll also get full 360, so he'll be able to kick. Like they do, they kick. And he's got a knee joint here. He's got the little ankle joint that'll go back and forth, and they'll go all the way up like that, so he'll be able to sit down. Then he's got a little bit of an abdomen crunch and going forward and backward, and it rotates and goes side to side, as you can see there. So he can kind of turn from side to side with that part too. And then his tail will, of course, spin around. That's about all it does, just spins around. That's it. That's all that does. So pretty good articulation, not quite as much depth as with Timber, Snake Eyes Timber, but still really cool and really good articulation for another action figure. And his name is Porkbelly. Porkbelly the Warthog, I think. Is that a Warthog? No, actually I was wrong. My wife corrected me. This is a wild boar. and does look kind of like Pumbaa, doesn't it, as far as these features. But this is a wild boar. Alright, so we looked at the articulation for these guys. So let's go ahead and put all of these guys, not necessarily a comparison, but just show them off with the other Dreadnoks that we have and some other figures, and just see how they look in our set here. And here is our big Boa as he's facing off with a couple of goons in this alley. He's like, "You guys ready to rumble? I'm ready to go, man. I'll take you both on and I'll beat your brains in, you know. I'm not scared of yo. I'm the Cobra, man. I have brains too. Well, at least I have brawn, and I'm ready to beat some brains in. Did I say that already?" Alright, and then here are Ripper and Torch and Buzzer talking to their leader Zartan over here, and they're looking cool as they talk to him and plot and figure out what they're going to do next. Just looking awesome. And then our Gnawgahyde dude over here is talking to the ladies, and our Porkbelly is taking it all in. So is Yobo, but they're taking it all in, and he's looking cool. Now I wanted to show you a couple of things about these guys that I didn't mention earlier. Starting with Torch over here, you can take his flamethrower and attach it underneath here. There's a little spot that it just snaps right in, and look, this is actually like a bone head that the torch nozzle is coming out of. Isn't that cool? You can see the teeth, and these flames here are actually coming out of his eyes. That's kind of neat. But you can see the detail given to all of that. Looking really cool. So you can snap that in and hold that. The hose will stick out a little bit, but that'll work. You can see what I was talking about as far as that vest being attached in the front, the chains that are wrapped around his wrists, and the non-removable glasses. Alright, as far as Ripper, you can attach his machine gun to his back because there's actually a peg that is on his chest armor wrap here that is square shaped, so it plugs. There's only one way it plugs, and that's at an angle, and that plugs his machine gun with that blade right in the little trigger hole there, so that he can hold on to that. I already showed you his knife piece here that slides up inside of his sheath, which has silver trim on it, looking cool. He's just looking awesome. Let me show you one of these. Let me show you this gun too. I was telling you that it had a little blade on it. See the little blade that it has? It's a pistol and a knife. Interesting combination. So he is definitely Ripper. He's gonna rip somebody up. And then there's several things to show you about Gnawgahyde. Here's a closer look at his bow setup, and you can see that this comes off here, and you could stick that one of those arrows in here, I believe. So the crossbow system, it's real gummy. It's not, you know, this is plastic, so you don't want to break it, but you could simulate it. It's got some cool black detail on either end. But I wanted to show you that that comes off. But also the figure himself, there he is with his hat off, so you get a look at how he looks without his hat. And then also notice the top of his head has like scarring. Almost looks like there are some scar marks on the top of his head. So that's interesting. And then look at the snake tattoo. I believe that's a snake. Yeah, snake with the slithering tongue coming out on the side of his head on that side. And he's got a little earring as well. Got the chops. Then take a look at this. Now the gun is coming loose here on the side. But not only can you attach the sniper case to his back with the hole, but then there's a hole in the case so you can attach his quiver to the back of his case, and then you can even attach this mechanism to that. So you can attach his crossbow to that, so he can hold everything. And then there's even a hole here, so I'm thinking, trying to figure out what goes in that. Okay, so I'm thinking the reason there's a hole here, a holder here, is when you have the gun assembled with the silencer and everything, you could stick that, you could have just this on his back and stick his silencer rifle in this quiver too by sticking it up in here. I believe that's why that's the case. But that's looking really cool, really neat detail, and you can see him holding his hat here. See it's scarring on the top of his head, his bald head. So there is Gnawgahyde. Really cool. Almost looks like leopard print or some sort of skin that his vest is made out of. You can see all of his tattoos. Just looking so neat. I believe this goes up on his bicep, this wrap here. So let me push that up. You see it's like, even that is like some of his, it's tight, like some bones or something that are in that. There we go. Cool detail. And here's our Gnawgahyde all decked out with a different option, holding his case here with his crossbow attached to his quiver, even his machete tucked away with those wraps around the stationary arrows, and you can make that kind of go behind him there. Also the little knife that slides in this little sheath behind his back that has the little silver metallic paint on the blade, and that slides right in there with his belt with some little tassel-y ties coming off of there. Just so much detail on this guy. He is just so neat. Bone work even on his vest. It's just, he's just so creative and neat. The fact that he can carry all of his stuff, and there's the little scope that can slide in this part, and I believe the same could happen over here, like I said. So, you know, like all of these, the backpacks don't hold on too well because of that small little peg, but it works good. Really neat. Oh, wow. While Big Boa is taking care of business back here, oh, he is really knocking them out. They didn't have a chance. Zorana and Zartan and Torch and Buzzer and Ripper and Gnawgahyde and even Porkbelly and Yoda. Nope, I'm sorry, Yobo. Not Yoda. Yobo with the eye patch are all taking a look at everything going on in the city, and it's like, we rule the day. This town belongs to us. Enterprise City don't have a chance. Bring it. Bring the fuzz, bring the popo, bring the pigs, whatever. No, stand by the blue. But that's what these guys are thinking, and they are just looking so cool. Thank you so much for joining us for this Cobra Play Day. Hope you had fun with these Dreadnoks like I did. Come back again and see us soon, and be blessed. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.